disturbing. I get to look at myself. God, I look fat in this chair. So, oh, there's a chair behind me. Oh, it shifts view. You guys see that? Or is that what you're seeing? That's crazy. Oh, what's going on with my hair? Anyway. I don't know what this pen. Stories for all ages. I guess this is the safe version of my pen. How many am I going to see at my 18-up panel later tonight? Oh, so most. Are we going to get new material?
Tell us a fun story.
Tell us a fun story? Oh, what kind of fun story? Give me more to work with. So far, you're just giving me ratings. Ask me a question and I'll answer it. That's what I do. This is the Dance Monkey Dance panel. But yeah, we'll get there. So hi everyone, it's good to be back. Shining faces. I know all of you personally now. I feel like I should be getting Christmas cards from all of you. Please don't send me Christmas cards. You're running out of space. Dang it. That's a hard thing when you get a Christmas card, because we get a lot of Christmas cards from family and stuff, and Brandon and I both have very large extended families, and so there's always that one relative that sends you the Christmas letter, that you know how everyone's doing. You're like, oh, that's nice. I don't remember who happens. But it's nice to know that Karen got married and Chris is in prison again. It's like that, but it's weird because you feel obligated, oh, cool, well now I have something to decorate the table with. I'll just put Christmas cards up, and then you're like, do I just throw them away after Christmas, or do I hold on to them? Who here throws their Christmas cards away? I know some hands are like, okay, we all do. Okay, we all throw Christmas cards away. And keep the ones you like? How long until you throw those away? I don't really like getting Christmas cards because I feel stressed. I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna keep this, where do I put it? But I like giving Christmas cards because I'm evil and I like being stressed to other people. But I try to go, there's a really cool store in, I don't know if they're everywhere, but in Dallas is a really cool, it's a teacher gift card or a card store. And they sell really cool origami stuff. It's really beautiful, the kind of cards that open up and all kinds of scenes pop out of them. This is amazing. And I try to give those away because that's my way of saying, here, that's all I'm giving you for Christmas is a card. But it's nice, so you can't complain. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. You're like, guys, that's probably been a fun story. So hi! Who wants to ask me a question to kick things off? Yeah.
Funniest moment of sibling rivalry between you and your brother.
Funniest moment of sibling rivalry. Oh, okay. So my brother, an older brother, he's about almost a decade older than me, so there's quite a bit of difference. But it was just enough difference that we kind of lived in the same house during the most annoying times of each of our lives. Because he was old enough to be a teenager, and I was just that right age to be 4 or 5 years old when he was in high school, so that I was that little brother who was just annoying constantly to him. He couldn't handle it, and I was an annoying kid. I was when you're a kid, you don't understand. If you have an older sibling, who here has an older sibling or older siblings? See, it's hard because you don't understand when you're a kid. You're like, why does Karen get to stay up later than? Why can't I stay up late? Because you're 5 and Karen's 21. Shut up. Why does Karen get to drive? Why does Karen get to hang out with her friends? Kind of things. So that was how it was with my brother. Why does Tommy get to stay up late? Why do I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock? How come I can't listen to my music? How come blah blah blah? And they'd be like, because you're not old enough. And no one tells you when you're old enough. It's just kind of a thing you have to finally. It's like having a job and asking for a promotion. You finally have to go to your parents am I finally old enough to stay over at a friend's house? Yeah, fine. You really have to take charge of your destiny in a way. So I was always asking. Anytime my brother did something, I wanted to do it as well. Every now and again, if my parents were just annoyed with both of us, they would make my brother take me with me. So my brother took me out, I tagged along with my brother on a lot of his dates.
Oh no!
Now I understand what my mom was doing. At the time, I just thought, ha ha ha, I get to go see this horror movie as well. Because my brother went up, was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go see Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, and that was the end. That's old I am, guys. Shut up. I was 6 or something when that came out. My brother wanted to go see it, so he's like, all right. He takes a date, and my mom was like, take your brother. I was like, Mom, take your brother. So there to the movie theater with him. And my brother's like, we're not going to go see that. We're going to go see a horror movie instead. So you're coming with us. Like, see, like we're going to go see a horror movie, and I'd be like, so I was traumatized. But I guess a sibling rivalry was, so every Halloween, my brother and his friends, he had some pretty questionable friends, would go around the neighborhood, egging people's houses, TPing people's houses, vandalism, which we used to do because that was a great way to spend Halloween. But I wasn't allowed to go with him then. But, I'd go trick-or-treating with my friends, and one time we were all dressed up in masks and stuff, so we weren't recognizable. And we rounded a corner, and there's my brother's friends with all these eggs, and they were just egging everybody they saw. Because they were like, oh, trick-or-treaters, especially young ones, and they just egg us. And so I got completely pelted with eggs from my brother's friends. And my brother saw that it was me because he recognized the costume. He's like, stop, 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 stop. And here I am just dripping with egg yolk, little bits of shell, and I'm like... And my brother had this whole carton of eggs in his arms, and he was like, stop, 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 and everyone stopped. And my brother just took the eggs and started throwing them at me. So it was where he's like, no, 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 if anyone's gonna egg my brother, it's me. So that kind of stuff happened all the time. And then now that we're both adults, and it's kind of interesting how our relationship has changed, because now we're both kind of like, my brother's a dad now, he's got 2 children, one of them is in college now. And so it's weird, we're growing old together. Now the older you get, the closer in age you feel you are to your sibling. I guess you're like, we're just old men now. How's it going? So, I don't know, not too much rivalry between me and my brother, because we're also very different in temperament. Like, we never pursued the same things. My brother was always very sports-oriented, and I was never very sports-oriented. I was the artsy kid, I drew, I played piano, I did acting, that kind of stuff. And, my family was supportive of it, but my brother just wasn't at all interested in any of that stuff. He was like kick balls around or throw things. And I was like, no, I don't. So, we had a fairly peaceful life. Not a lot of rivalry, but just me being annoying with my brother and him putting me in my place. Not very interesting. We're also so far apart in age, we didn't really live in the same house for very long, because he was off in college by the time I was in my teens. So I don't feel like we grew up together for very much, because he was off on his own at 17, or 18 rather, and at the time I was 9 when he left. So, it's weird. We've gotten to know each other better since we've grown up, because we see each other more than we did when we were kids. So, yeah. Who has another question? Yes, you.
What's been your favorite
Okay, I'm going to talk for a second about Ghoul Intentions. Who here knows what Ghoul Intentions is? Okay, that's not nearly enough of you, but thank you. Ghoul Intentions is a podcast I do with Jamie Markey, my best friend. Jamie and I cannot get together. We've known each other for like 15 years. And we're both Oklahoma, we're both OU alumnus. So we're like, oh cool, so we've known each other forever, and we cannot get together for like 5 minutes without someone telling a ghost story. That's just who we are as people. We're like, yeah, did you hear about that thing? Or like a true crime story. Like we like that kind of thing. So we're like, we should do a podcast about this. So about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, we got together and started doing a podcast. We call it Ghoul Intentions. We drop a full episode every Monday, and a little mini episode that we like to call Ghosticles. Jamie's idea, not mine. Which is like a short, 30-minute episode where we read your submissions and stuff. So, and every week we focus on some different, haunted history, something. We each have a different topic, and we'll try to scare the hell out of the other with our topic. So we kind of come to the table and we're like, what have you got this week? Oh, here's my thing. What have you got? Oh, here's my thing. And then we basically drink and try to scare the hell out of each other with history. My favorite episode, there's a couple, but one of the coolest, weirdest ones was I got to do a research episode on the Skinwalker Ranch. If someone was like, someone knew what that was, okay, if you guys don't know what the Skinwalker Ranch is, it's not a strip club, yet, but as far as I know, but it's really, really creepy. It's just a stretch of land in Utah that's had all sorts of really weird, very well documented things. And to date, I think it's the largest, longest running, professionally endowed paranormal investigation of its kind that's ever been done anywhere on US soil. And they've uncovered a lot of crazy stuff and written books about it. And it's one of those things where and this is something I uncovered, there's a lot of good stories, a lot of eyewitness accounts, a lot of documentation. We're like, okay, something's going on there. And all the skeptics, not the diss skeptics, because sometimes they're right, but all the skeptics, all they can say is, nah. But this happened, nah. Which is really funny. But that was a really long form episode I got to do when I went down that rabbit hole and was like, oh crap. There's also another one, a favorite, I did the one called the Devils of Loudon, or Loudon, which is a place where it's an entire convent of nuns supposedly got possessed. But it's not what you think, it's far worse. And things like that. We just did one on the Myrtles plantation, where we actually did quite a bit of debunking. We call it an actually. But yeah, so listen to the show. It's really great. We've been doing it it's called Ghoul Intentions, and we have a website. We're also on Twitter and on Instagram and Spotify, all the major audio platforms you can find us on. And if you want to submit your own story, we'll almost always get around to reading the listener submissions. We just ask that it's a true story and that happened to you personally, so that you can verify. So yeah, and we're about to go live with the Patreon version of the site in October. It seemed like a good time. And we're hopefully going to start doing some live film content, like where we're Jamie and I get drunk and go on ghost hunts. I'd pay good money to see that. We kind of do that anyway. So, the ghosts follow me. We have heard, we've done one on Eastern State Penitentiary. We actually want to go at some point. We almost did, but the time of year that we have to be there, they were like, we don't have tours this time of year because it's too cold. But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so listen to the podcast and support us on Patreon if you like what you hear. If nothing else, just submit your stuff. Yes. You say one of your famous lines to Sebastian like there's more than one. It's like one. All right, we're gonna get this out of the way now. Sebastian's line. I'm not after all, I'm simply one hell of a butler. Thanks. Thank you for not screaming. I do appreciate that. I think I would probably ask Sebastian, why do you put up with him? Yell's a brat. He's just an awful kid. I mean, I know he's been through some things, so I have sympathy for him, but man, learn how to tie your shoes. You're old enough to tie your shoes. You don't need a butler for that. I don't know, sometimes you just see CL and I'm like, I get the French Revolution. I kind of talk to all my characters. Like when I'm given a role, I'll sit down and kind of interview them. I'm like, who are you? Favorite color, favorite food? That kind of stuff. But so yeah, I would ask Sebastian, like, how good is that soul that you're putting up with this? Like, can it be that good? Can there be someone else out there with a slightly tastier soul that's just nicer to you? Black butler would be like, I want to see Sebastian as a driving instructor. Or like something really mundane. He's like, okay, I guess I'm going to be a greeter at Walmart. Best damn greeter ever. Just doing that to get the store manager's soul. Oh my God. It's so early. It's Friday, not early. This is not early in the day for me, I promise. Who's got the question? Yes.
Do you ever have time to watch things or read things that you're not watching for work?
I try to make time. It's been easy the past couple of years because I've kind of backed off a little bit of doing quite so much. I got to a point, I'm of an age now where I'm just kind of like, nah. I'll take breaks from a season every now and again, like a couple seasons ago. I said, hey guys, we wrapped on Steins Gate Zero, which was a pretty brutal show, very emotional, and I was like, cool, I'm not doing anything next season, bye. I'll do reprisals, but like, don't cast me and stuff this season, guys, because Michael needs a break. So I did that. So I'm kind of I'm pursuing other things now, just as I'm kind of I'm in my 40s now, I'm 43 years old. I know to some of you that's ancient. Yes, I was around in the Civil War. piss out of me. But so now I'm kind of doing other stuff. I'm getting back into music composition, which I've done for a long time, and playing again and things like that. So back in the day, I had very little time to watch stuff or to anything that wasn't work related. I rarely could have time to delve in. So my idea of like a vacation was to just like turn everything off. And for example, okay, so John Williams, the great John Williams, was interviewed a few years ago, and he's in retirement now. He comes out of retirement every now and again to contribute to the score, not contribute to work. And he was being interviewed, and he said something really fascinating, which I found really relatable. The woman's like, the interviewer, the woman that was interviewing him was like, what kind of music do you listen to? And he's like, oh, I don't listen to music. And she's like, why on earth? You're like one of the greatest living composers and you don't listen to music? He's like, no, I don't. It's like if I go out to a dinner party and someone's playing something, my mind starts picking it apart, or it's something that's like a classical composer, like something by Mozart or Scriabin or something, and he's just going, I'll never write anything like that in my life that's good. So he's like, it's not a comfort listening to music. It's just not. It's a job and I love doing it and I have a deep relationship with music, he says, but it's not what I do for fun. And I'm like, oh, I get that. So I don't, for example, watch a lot of anime. And of course it was my jam for the longest time, but now it's just like, it's a job. And when it's your job, when it's how you earn your living, it changes the relationship a little bit. You're kind of like, yeah, I don't really watch shows unless I'm in it and I want to watch it to kind of see how I did and kind of maybe take notes and criticize myself and be like, oh, okay, well, let's do a different approach then. I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore, and it's kind of extended to everything. I don't really binge watch stuff anymore. I watch single serving stuff. Because I have a bad habit of starting a really good series, and then when it's really good, I'm like, damn it, I can't watch this. I can't watch it because I'm gonna get stuck. I'm gonna go watch everything, and it's like I'm just very aware of my time now. I don't like spending it on stuff. I want to sit with my French bulldog and read a book or compose music or something like that. But I don't watch a lot of movies or binge watch a lot of series anymore. That may change. The phase I'm going through now is like, no, just get me away from entertainment. It's what I do for a living. I don't want to be entertained. But does that make sense? Yes.
What sort of music are you composing?
It's kind of classical-ish, but it's because I'm a classically trained musician, so that's kind of my ear. But it's kind of modern, avant-garde-ish kind of stuff. I'm really if you know music at all, like classical music, I'm really into the New York school of the 60s and 70s. So I really like that American minimalist, totalist stuff. So people like Philip Glass or like Steve Reich or John Adams is a composer I'm getting back into. He's been around for a long time. He's still alive and he still writes stuff, and his music is amazing. And it's tonal, it's very approachable, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So I find myself kind of drawn to that style, and that tends to be how I write. That just tends to be what influences me the most. That's sort of how my own works come out. A lot of it's piano-based because I'm a pianist. And so I'm kind of in a phase now. I'm like, I want to try to write for other instruments that I don't play. Because that's the challenge. I'm like, okay, I'll write for piano. I'll cheat a little bit because I know how to play it. But you really want to do ear training. You have to kind of write for instruments you're not accustomed to. So you have to hear it with your ear, not just know how to. But yeah, I love it. One day, I'm hoping I'm setting a goal for myself. I want to put on an EP later this year of original music. Brandon and I both are kind of working on our own musical projects at the same time, and we now have a nice home studio within which to do it. So hopefully, I want to put out a concept album for game music, but for a game that doesn't exist. Just a game in my head. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you. It's imaginary games are so easy to produce. Yes.
Why not just make the soundtrack for that show where Sebastian works as a Walmart greeter?
Not a bad idea. I'll have a bonus track on the EP. We'll just call it Smiley Face. That's awesome. All right, who's next? Did you have one? Next? Revenues?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes, who's your favorite Pokemon and your favorite Sailor Guardian?
Oh, I don't know. I think my favorite Pokemon, I really like Darkrai's, because the first time I got to be in the Pokemon universe, I played this guy named Tobias who had a Darkrai.
Oh, holy shit,
So,
you're friends.
yeah. I know, right? He's like 5 lines. I was in New York for a convention and the director was there and he was like, "Hey, can you just want to jump in and be like special guest star?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I was Tobias. I'm like, and I knew nothing about Pokemon. I never watched it as a kid because it was Pokemon got popular, but by the time it was a really big thing, I was too old for it. So I was too cool for that stuff. I think. So I was in my like mid-20s and I just didn't watch Pokemon. It didn't catch me at the right age. But I knew how big it was, and so when they asked me to like step in just for an afternoon, like half an hour, to like do this thing, because the studio was up the road from where the convention was, I was like, sure, that'd be fun. And they called me back not long after that to be the villain or the antagonist. I should have called him the villain because it's not evil, it's just misguided. But I played Damien rather, in one of the White and Black movies that came out in like 2011 or something like that. So I'm the guy with the floating castle. That was cool. I'm like, I got to be in the Pokemon universe. How cool is that? So, yeah. So I put a dark crack, and sort of my favorite Sailor Guardian. I don't know enough about the Sailor. I really don't, because I'm not in it. I heard that whole conversation we just had about, like, if I'm not in it, I really don't watch it, because I just don't have time. But if I were in it, I would probably have a favorite. Who's your favorite?
Oh, Mercury.
And that's mine. Why is Mercury our favorite?
She's the nerdiest Sailor
Love
Guardian.
Love it.
She's the one who would be going to an anime con.
Oh, great. I support that.
Magic bubbles.
There's magic bubbles? What do they do?
They can make mist, and so that way the enemies can't see.
Oh, I like that. I like saying, okay, I like Mercury. That's my answer from now on. This mic hates me. Cool. Say the Mercury. I like Mercury's a good sign. I like that. I'm a Mercury, I guess. Because I'm a Gemini. That's the Mercury sign. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mercury is the winged messenger of the gods, and so that's the Gemini. That's where the Gemini trope comes from. I guess. It's one of the. Yeah. So,
Gemini's over here.
yeah. No question.
Out of all of the characters you voiced, which one was like absolutely positively fun to voice?
They're all fun in some form or fashion. I think the most fun I've had in the booth recording anything has been voicing Sir Hammerlock in the Borderlands franchise. Because let me tell you about going in to Gearbox. Gearbox is local to Dallas. They're Dallas-based, so it's awesome. I just have to take a short drive to their studio and walk in, and it's really swanky. Like it's a big operation, so they have security measures. You have to walk in. It's kind of like going into Westworld. Glass doors swish open, and there's a little pad you type in your information on, and it's very nice. The person behind the counter goes, "Please be seated. We'll be with you. The director will be with you in just a few moments." And it's like going in for a doctor's appointment or something. And after a couple of that, after a few sessions of that, like I'd start going in and I'd start signing in, and they'd say things like, "Oh, Mr. Tate, you don't have to sign. Just call me Mr. Tate. Please have a seat." And I sit down, and there's like a Coke Zero waiting for me because I know I love Coke Zero, and I'm like, I didn't know how they know, but there it is. And I'm like, "Is this large?" She's like, and then we go in, and so remember, like, so we record it. It's pre-lay recording, so it's not, which is it gives you a great deal of freedom because they animate it to your performance, and so there's a lot of room for ad-libbing or just kind of letting the lines breathe, however it strikes you. So and the writers are there in the room with you most of the time. There's a director, a couple of writers, and they're really awesome, and they seem to really love, at least they tell me, they love writing Hammerlock dialogue because they're like, I love Hammerlock because he can literally say anything. And it just works for him because he's that kind of character. And I'm like, I love playing characters that will say anything because then it means more dialogue. And then Daddy gets more hours. So, but I really love doing it because he's just a fun character and they've done really fun, he's always been funny, but in Borderlands 3, spoilers, like they do more with him and you're like, oh, that's really, I love that they're doing that. They're rounding him out and making him kind of, giving him some emotional things to do, which are really rewarding as an actor. So I still get to be comic relief, but also have heart, and it's great. And I just love recording in that studio. Everyone there is having a ball because Gearbox they take care of their creatives. They really love the creatives. It's a very creative atmosphere. So if you are an actor or a writer or a director or a designer, they treat you like a god because they're like, you are the content. On this, and it's not the case with every studio. A lot of studios are very business oriented, so you walk in and like, well, thanks, you have a good time, but you don't walk out of there feeling like an artist necessarily. You walk out of most studios feeling like a competent professional. That's sometimes not as fulfilling, but you walk out of Gearbox feeling like, damn, it must be, because the actors, you know, the writers were cracking up or whatever. So it's a really fun atmosphere, and I just love what they've done with the game. How many people here are into Borderlands, the franchise? Yeah? 3 is so freaking lit, you guys. Oh my god. I love it. Well, about 99% of them are scripted. But there's like a few things here and there. And it was funny, when I first came in to do Sir Hammerlock in Borderlands 2, he was just a side character. Like, he didn't have a lot to do. He was not going to be a quest giver originally. He was just going to be like someone you spoke to for like half a second. It was like an hour's worth of dialogue, an hour's worth of work for the dialogue, which is about 15 minutes of dialogue. Just toss it. Come on.
My lord,
Come on. Look at that. It'll bounce off my head. Better be vodka.
Oh, yeah. That's later.
Gin.
Vinegar.
It's okay.
Hey, you guys. But the first time I went in, so they go in and there's kind of like, here's how the character looks. There's no animation to work with because they do that later. So you're given a lot of freedom. And they're like, here's how he looks. And he looked very different originally than they wound up going with him. But they're like, here's kind of the thing. We kind of want a goofy British explorer type of voice. What we got. And I was like, what's this? And they're like, oh, yeah. That. We love that. Okay. And so they would just, you know, I said the lines and they would be like, funny. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Type something up. Can you say that? What? I'm afraid when I hold it closer, that happens. Huh? Is that what they want? It sounds so loud. Okay, so you like this? But not this. You don't like this? But this is better. I'm eating an ice cream cone. Fuzzy ice cream. Anyway, so I go in to record, and you know, they really just liked the dialogue, and they liked his voice, and they started adding a few more lines, and then they just enjoyed the character so much, and I guess what I was doing with it, they were like, all right, come in for another hour, we have a few more lines, and, oh, we're going to give him his own DLC, and oh, he's going to be the voice on the trailer, and I'm like, okay. So it started as this type of character, and he just grew because we had so much fun in session that the writers were just like, they were like, okay, this is a character that can literally say anything, so let's make him say anything. And when they brought him back for 3, it was a pleasure because they're like, it's so good to have Hammerlock back. And the writers who were not writers I worked with before were like, it's so nice to meet you. Like, they just kind of push your butt because you're Hammerlock to them. And you're like, no, thank you for having me in. Like, oh, this is great. Gearbox, for God's sakes. You get in there and here's the line and you just like say something like in Hammerlock's voice like this and you look out the window and the writers are going, there's nothing here. So Borderlands is super fun. Yes, you have a question there in the back with White Glove. Hello.
Hello. If you could pick your own personal quirk, would you want something similar to Ida's or would you want something different?
I don't think I need Ida's quirk because I'm already really fast. In the time it took me to answer your question, I just ran out of this room and came back. Yeah. I can say the national anthem in 1 second. Want to hear it? Ah! Anyway, no, I want a very special quirk because I've been asked this question before. The quirk I want is I want never to say the wrong thing. That's my hero quirk. I never screw up and say the wrong thing. I don't want the quirk that always makes me say the right thing. I want to creatively come up with that myself. I just never want to say the wrong thing. Which sometimes just means my quirk just shuts me up. My mouth just disappears.
This is 2019.
It's a good quirk to have. What else? Yes.
Building off that, what's the funniest blooper outtake you've either heard of?
There's so many. Scar and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood had some really juicy outtakes, but I think the shake weight bit. Have you seen the one I'm talking about? Where he's like, I screwed up a line, and when I screw up a line, I tend to do one of two things. I'll just stop and start over again immediately if they're still recording, or I'll laugh at myself because it was a really good screw up, or I'll just be like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'll just be like, oh, never mind. Okay, well, I'll just say something ridiculous, and then everyone laughs. Because it's just kind of a good way of diffusing, screw up. So we were just during the line, I forget the actual line, and I just said something, and I was like, oh, and he had that pose. He was doing the thing, showing the tats, and the ink And he was like, and I screwed the line and I was like, shake weight, 10 minutes a day, every day. And I was like, all right, we're keeping that. Let's go into the blooper. And the face explode. And it's like, throw a face explode. Sometimes we just bomb each other, like where the director will, you know, like here's the line, but you're just like, I want to make the director.